And by the way, this is what we call the door of no return. Mm. They had forts that were created that were, every country had their own fort that were located along the coast of Africa. Mm-hmm. And this was the last sight that an African would see before they were taken away from their country forever. Oh. This is an actual statue from Benin showing an African in chains, which is very unusual because they don't usually show that. But he has chains on around his ankles and behind his back. And that mouthpiece was to keep him from screaming out because they had so many slavers that they were taking him through the bush that they didn't want him to make noise that might attract the attention of other slavers because they were busy bringing them. There were so many different Africans that were complicit in the slave trade, you know? So like I said, we tell the truth. We let them know that, yes, it was Africans that became complicit in the slave trade, but it was based on lies. It was based on lies. They had no idea that they were selling their people away forever. They thought they were simply taking them to another part of Africa.
And I researched this museum tour, so I was down a rabbit hole, and they were comparing the Middle Eastern and African slave trade with the transatlantic slave trade, and they said that the ones that preceded transatlantic, and you can confirm this, I'm sure you know this, when it came to slavery, A of all, they didn't know how far they were taking them, and B of all, slavery was like you became a member of somebody's family, and it wasn't like for life. It was for a particular. Go ahead.
They were never taken away from the continent. This shows you how the Arab Muslims, they were the first to start selling their captives of war. They were really captives of war because there was warring going on all over the world. They were fighting in Ireland and Germany and other European countries. But when the Europeans came to Africa, they started trading with the North African Arabs and enlisted them to go into Africa to purposely capture other Africans to enslave. But they did something that would change slavery in Africa forever. They gave them guns. Guns did not exist in the African culture before the Europeans introduced it to them. Once they did that, then other African leaders, they wanted guns as well in order to protect themselves. So not only did you have the Arabs, you had the Moors and other African rulers who started selling their captives of war away as well.
Yeah, much like they did with the indigenous peoples here. They were trading for guns.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, this talks about the 3/5 compromise that were written into law so that slavers would get credit for the number of slaves that they had, you know? And again, legislation has played a critical role in how slavery was maintained. And it was always for the whites who wanted to keep slavery going. It was never to benefit the blacks who were enslaved.
No. They said the Electoral College is also have its based in
absolutely. Absolutely. Every one of these presidents owned slaves, including Ulysses S. Grant. He actually obtained the slave through his wife because most of the women used slaves as their dowry. But he soon sold the slaves soon after they married. 41 signers of the Declaration of Independence owned slaves.
Ironic.
And during Reconstruction, look at all these black men who were elected into Congress. But they slowly or quickly, I should ended that, you know, which put us right back into a subjugated position, you know.
Right, they had to stop the voting, is what they did, right?
Absolutely.
From them. Which is funny how we're right back there again.
You're absolutely right.